What if I told you that all that is standing between you and greatness is the person that you see in the mirror daily? What if I told you the only thing preventing you from fulfilling the purpose that God has for your life is the illusion that you can? How would you respond? How would you show up if you knew that just by changing the way you think, you would drastically change your life? Welcome, everyone, to True Vision is Unselfish. I am your host, a servant on assignment to inform some and encourage others to know that, yes, you do have a purpose, and that no matter what you have been through in life, no matter what you may be going through, you must never forget that God can still use you. Remind yourself of that every single day. How many of you truly believe that God has called you to do something greater? I mean, you can feel it with every fiber of your being. You know that without a shadow of a doubt that there is something so very special inside of you. You've been having the dreams, you've seen the visions, you feel the beckoning, the call to do so much more, but yet, like so many, myself included at one point in time, you have made the conscious decision to allow fear, worry, doubt, and the opinions of others to cause you to suppress the very dreams that God has placed on the inside of you. What if I told you that right now on the inside of you, yes, you, right now on the inside of you, is the answer to someone's prayer? What if I told you that all that is standing between you and greatness is the person that you see in the mirror daily? What if I told you the only thing preventing you from fulfilling the purpose that God has for your life is the illusion that you can? How would you respond? How would you show up if you knew that just by changing the way you think, you would drastically change your life? There's an old saying, when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's at that point, it's at that very moment that you are ready to make a change. Does any of this sound familiar? Have you reached that point in your life where you said enough is enough? And are you ready to shift the atmosphere? If so, stay locked in, because today I am going to start a series and share some steps with you that helped me, that will hopefully help you to get out of your head and to get in to your greatness. Some years ago, I found myself at a crossroads in my life where I was questioning my very existence, confused, anxious, and frustrated because there was this void that I just could not understand. There was something missing. I found myself getting up I found myself getting up daily, dragging myself to a workplace that I absolutely despised, was grateful for, but had nevertheless mentally checked out from years ago. Have any of you ever experienced this? Have you ever been somewhere physically, but mentally your mind is at a whole nother residence? It just be like that sometimes, right? Hmm. Anywho, I needed that paper, y'all. So I did like most people do, and I stayed. At the very center of this crossroads, I found myself buying things and engaging in the same activities, having the same conversations, visiting the same social media platforms, literally doing the same thing over and over again. What am I doing? Because this ain't it. This is not it. There is something missing. You know, God speaks in so many different ways, not just through scriptures or sermons, but sometimes it could be through those people close to you. And it just so happens on a particular day, after having a heart to heart conversation with my brother about just life, that he would make a recommendation that I should check out a gentleman by the name of Dr. Miles Monroe. I had heard mention of this name for many years, had seen many clips of Dr. Monroe speaking, but never truly invested the time to sit down and listen to a message in its entirety. So one day, I decided to be intentional. I wanted to know more about Dr. Monroe and his teaching. So instead of turning on Netflix and allowing for myself to be consumed for hours, binge watching a series or movie that would, in a sense, only serve to waste my time, I went, got a pen and paper, turned on YouTube, and began watching one of Dr. Monroe's messages. Ladies and gentlemen, midway through this powerful message, it all started making sense. All the pieces of the puzzle started coming together. All the cylinders started firing. I now had a clear understanding of why I was restless, confused, and frustrated. I now understood my why. Why I was placed on this earth. I now knew. I knew that God had placed something special inside of me that was meant to be shared with the world. I now knew that I had purpose. The entire message in and of itself is truly a masterpiece. This man is brilliant, I said to myself. It was as if this message had been written specifically for me. There were so many strong points that I can highlight, but there was one illustration that really stood out to me. This one illustration, as they say nowadays, it just hit different. Y'all check this out.
Which means that your ability is determined by your responsibility. Your potential is designed by your purpose. Your potential is equal to what you were born to do. The best example I can give you is this car. Look at this car. All cars have what they call a speedometer. Am I right? Well, here's an old one, old Chevy. Now, if you look at the numbers have up to 160 miles per hour this car can travel. All of your cars have that kind of registration, sometimes 200, 180. Everybody got that, right? Okay. Now, when you bought the car, that was on the car. You bought the car with it. It was on it, 180 miles per hour. I'm getting ready to go, okay. I'm so excited. Okay, so you bought this car, you brought it home, and the manufacturer says this car can travel 180 miles per hour. How can the manufacturer put that on there? What makes him so sure that this vehicle could travel 180? That's the first question. The second question is, have you ever traveled 180 in that car? No. Let me tell you how stupid our philosophy of our countries are. We sell a car that could travel 180 and put a sign up 50 miles per hour. It's amazing, it's crazy. I don't understand it. I have no idea how they got this idea. I don't know where it comes from. But it tells you the nature of your culture. Don't try it. They give the company permission to build the capacity, but restricts your ability to use it. And you never thought about that. And that's the way they think about you.
Wow.
So all your life, you can make 180, but you've been traveling for 50 years at 60 miles per hour. And you think you're living. The capacity is present.
Listen, I'm sorry, but that illustration is an absolute game changer. When you begin to fully understand the magnitude of what Dr. Monroe is saying, just knowing that I had so much potential to do so much greater, but I made the choice, me. I chose to limit myself based on what others told me in my own limiting beliefs. And in no way, shape, form, or fashion should a child of the Most High God be living their lives in a state of imprisonment to their very own minds. You know, while in the process of preparing this message, while thinking about Dr. Monroe's many illustrations, and it really got me to thinking about all the different limitations that we as a people have placed on ourselves. Ironically, it also got me to thinking about all the different investments throughout our lifetime that we may or have invested in. Things that we've purchased expecting them to perform to a certain potential based on the testimony of our peers or an advertisement from a manufacturer promoting their product, only to then realize that they too may be subject to limitations. Here's an example of what I mean, and stay with me, y'all. It'll all make sense in the end. This here is a photo of my very first car. It was a 1995 Buick Roadmaster, one of the most reliable vehicles I've ever had, and I've had a lot of cars. I loved almost everything about this car. It was reliable, it was spacious, it was comfortable, wasn't really that bad on gas, and was relatively quick for such a large vehicle. Here's what I didn't like. I paid about $11,000 for a car that had a Corvette engine in it that had an advertised top speed of 120 miles an hour. Side note, that was moving back in the day, y'all, for such a large vehicle. But that 120 on the speedometer was a lie. General Motors, you lied to me. Here lies the dilemma. Now, of course, not me, okay? But someone told me that who had driven the car, that once the car reached 110 miles an hour, the car started to decelerate. What in the haberdashery is that all about? Once the car hit 110 miles an hour, the needle started moving backwards. At least that's what I was told, because I drive the speed limit. Wait a minute, is that Pinocchio? Hey man, who put that up there? Take that down, man. Ain't nobody lying. I'm telling the truth. So my question is, why put the 120 up there if it ain't gonna do 120, right? See, after some careful research, I discovered that most car manufacturers, depending on the make and model of the vehicle, place governors or speed restraints on their vehicles for safety or insurance purposes, right? What does that mean? It means that even though my vehicle was showing a top speed of 120 miles an hour, it had been pre-programmed, governed to slow down once it hit 110, which means what? It means that most of our vehicles have been programmed not to reach their maximum potential. That's crazy, right? It gets better. And I'm a car guy, y'all, so I really like this next part. See, here's what they also don't want you to know, is that your ECU, your vehicle's computer, see, you can reprogram that joke. See, if you insert a little chip, or you get your ECU, your car's computer reflashed, it does something miraculous. It reprograms your car's computer to process and perform differently based on the information that is transmitted to the computer. Stay with me, it's coming together. This all means that now your vehicle with an upgraded ECU can, and in most cases, meet or exceed its desired potential. You may be asking, dude, what in the world does that have to do with this message? Everything. Everything. See, for years, you and I have allowed for ourselves to be governed, slowed down by the opinions of others and our own limiting beliefs to live a life that God never designed for us to live. Jesus said, I came that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. Our Father, the creator of the heavens and the earth, our manufacturer, never placed a governor on our potential. God desires for us to live an abundant life, and that's the life. An abundant, purpose-filled life. God desires for you and I to be prosperous despite what others may say. Listen, I don't know you personally, but I do know this. I want to see you prosper, and I want to see you win. I really do. So I said all of that to say this. Today, not tomorrow, today, let's begin removing some of those mental restraints, those governors that have been holding you back. And let's begin reprogramming your ECU, your mind, to think differently, to maximize your full potential. Let me ask you a question. Don't you think you owe it to you to see the very best version of yourself? I certainly do. So if you want to begin seeing yourself differently, if you want to begin stepping into your greatness, if you want to begin unlocking that unlimited potential on the inside of you, please allow for me to share some disciplines with you that will assist in getting you out of your head and into your greatness. How's that sound? Let's get it. One of the very first disciplines you must adopt has been the sole topic of this message thus far. Now, I know this may sound simple, but I assure you it is probably one of the most difficult tasks you will ever have to do. This first discipline separates the eagles from the chickens, the leaders from the followers. To get out of your head and to get into your greatness, you must change your thinking. And I promise you, if you change your thinking, you will change your world. Your mindset is so important because whether you want to acknowledge it or not, you cannot solve your problems with the same thinking that you use to create them. The journey of becoming, me stepping into my purpose, started for me when I began seeing myself fulfilling my purpose through my mind's eye and not limiting myself to all that I could see with my physical eyes. I again started believing that my dreams would come true. And somewhere down the line, life knocked you on your behind and you gave up. You stopped fighting, you stopped dreaming, and you stopped believing. Remember how when you were little and you used to dream big? You got to awaken that ambitious, fearless side of yourself. I know. Trust me, I've been there. Life be lifing. All kinds of financial hardships, loss of loved ones, broken relationships, job loss, seemingly one hurdle after another. And I know most days you just want to throw in the towel, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. I love the way Les Brown put it. When life knocks you down, try to land on your back because if you can look up, you can get up. So please do not allow for those setbacks in your life to cause you to give up on your dreams because sometimes those very setbacks can be a setup for the greatest blessings of all time. Just take a brief moment. Visualize New York City and all those massive skyscrapers that were built. They were built through years and years of construction, but they started the root with someone's dream. Someone saw it in their mind's eye. They visualized that massive infrastructure in their mind, and then they put it on paper, and then they saw it through until it was manifested. As Habakkuk 2 and 2 states, you gotta write the vision, make it plain. You have to see yourself doing whatever it is that God has purposed for you to do because you can achieve whatever you conceive and believe. See it, believe it, manifest it. If you change your thinking, you will, not you maybe, not it's possible, you will change your world. Got that one? Now, once I begin changing my perspective, my mindset, then I could begin working on the second discipline that I know everyone has struggled with from time to time. Y'all ain't ready for this next one. You ain't. But here we go. I had to stop procrastinating. This the one right here. This here is the one. I had to start being intentional about my time management because if you want something that you've never had, you must be willing to do something that you've never done. So guess what? I did just that. I literally did something that I've never done. Now I know what I'm getting ready to say is going to sound crazy to most. Y'all gonna be like, "Oh, I ain't doing that. You tweaking. I'm gonna do something else." But this is what God told me to do, so I chose to be obedient. So what did I do that was so crazy? Here come the trash truck. My God. I told everyone who I regularly talk to, listen, I'm taking a break from social media. Please don't send me any social media clips. Full transparency. The first 2 weeks was crazy. Crazy work. Could y'all just come pick the trash up? You ain't got to talk. Just get the trash. I'm sorry, y'all. Full transparency. The first 2 weeks was crazy. Crazy work. So tough. There was a couple days I felt like Smokey and Debo's pigeon coop, but I ain't lying. And if you don't know who Smokey or Debo is, I advise you to go and watch the movie Friday. So if cutting out social media wasn't enough, check this out. I then took it a step further. I began setting time limits for how long I watch television. Now that's crazy. I had to start setting boundaries, y'all. I had to. And to prove to everyone just how serious I was, if someone thought they were being funny and sent me a clip from social media, guess what they got? Nothing. No response. None. Don't miss this. Your family and friends need to understand just how important your purpose is to you. And if your purpose is that important to you, then you must come up with a game plan to begin minimizing whatever it is that occupies majority of your time. Now, hear me, listen. Don't think you funny and go to your job and you tell your supervisor, I want to cut my hours back because my job is occupying majority of your time. I ain't talking about that, okay? Now, if you have the resources to do so, I advise you to pray about it and then be obedient. But let me be more specific for those gray area people, okay? When I say whatever's occupying majority of your time, I am referencing your phone, your tablet, your video game, your television. If you smoke them little trees that smell like pine cones, whatever, you know what it is that uses up majority of your time. You must come up with a game plan to use your time more wisely. If you don't, trust me when I tell you, they will only serve as a vice to keep you from doing whatever it is that God has assigned for you to do. An author by the name of Edward Young is known for quoting, procrastination is the thief of time. Notice he didn't say a thief, he said the thief. Every moment we waste in procrastination is a moment we can never retrieve. It is time lost forever. You can't get that time back. Procrastination is the leading cause of most people, get this, never realizing their true potential. And guess what? I agree with everything he said. Everything. If you just sit back for a moment, think about all the times that you set out to complete an important task without boundaries, what usually happens? You hear that notification chime, and immediately your anxiety starts going crazy because you got to see what someone sent you. So you scroll over to your text message or you hit your social media page, and you might say something like, I'm going to just watch this one clip, right? But do you really just watch that one clip? Nope. Keep it 100. By the way, how many of y'all said you just watched the one clip? Okay. So for the honest people, what do we say? What do we do? We keep scrolling. That's what we do. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. That's what we do. Next thing you know, 2, 3 hours have gone by. You don't even remember what you're supposed to be working on. And when you do remember what you're supposed to be working on, you might say something like this: I do it tomorrow. Yep, that's what we do. I'm guilty of it. Listen, don't feel bad. There is not a single person on this earth that is not or has not been guilty of procrastination. We've all done it. But now that you understand how detrimental procrastination is to your purpose, you got to ask the question, what are you really willing to sacrifice to step into the purpose that God has for your life? Remember, your purpose is not just about you. There is someone out there waiting for that song, the sermon, the book that is presently on the inside of you. So please do not continue to allow for procrastination to stop you from fulfilling your purpose. I'm almost done. Now, what I'm getting ready to say is not to scare you, but to make you aware of a harsh reality. There are millions and millions of people who said, I will start tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. They never made it to the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember what we have is now. People of God, time, not money, is your greatest asset because you can always make more money, but you can never get back the time. So please make the best of it. Amen. All right, more to come in part 2. Y'all stay tuned. Please share this message with your people. Share it with everyone. If you would like to support the channel, please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, turn on your notifications, hit that little bell thingy so you know when I drop new content. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Prayerfully, something that I said today hit home. And until next time, be blessed and be encouraged. God bless you.